Well, well, well. What do we have here? Shang Chi lead actor Simu Liu has taken a shot at other creators who I've mentioned in my video that blew up, for my standards at least. No subscribers, now I've one, but got over 500 views, so that's blowing up for me. I mentioned a couple of them in there. He's taken a shot with a, was it Instagram story post? It's right here. Taking a shot at people who wrongly predicted the box office with numbers that were given to us from the mainstream media, from Disney themselves. They added a little opinion in there, but basing their predictions off those numbers. So if you want to blame anybody, blame Disney. Blame Box Office Pro, blame mainstream media. But thank you, Simu Liu. If you're watching this, and now I know there's probably a chance you are, thank you for giving us this gift. It just shows that we're in your head and you're soft. I mean, it'd be fine if you just posted something on Twitter or Instagram, whatever, saying, we proved all these people wrong. Opening weekend, now we gotta stay on track and keep this thing going. That's perfectly fine. Would have no problem with that, but this just seems petty to me. It shouldn't be the first thing in your head. I mean, Brie Larson didn't do this. I think he's worse than Brie Larson. Brie Larson is mostly just annoying. She said a couple things, but she's just annoying. He's just ignored greats like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan to push an agenda. Just erasing history. Doing that, he does that. I mean, dude, just piece of shit. But I mean, this is a gift. But let's get into the article. Shang-Chi actor Simu Liu mocks critics for reporting on disastrous box office predictions. The joke's on him. It says Shang-Chi and Legend of Ten Rings actor Simu Liu mocked critics for reporting on box office predictions for the film. Box office tracking website Box Office Pro, which is what I used, predicted that the film would have the worst opening domestic weekend in Marvel Cinematic Universe history when they released their long-range box office forecast for the film in the middle of August. Specifically, they claimed that the film would have an opening domestic weekend between 35 million and 55 million. If that prediction had come true, it would have had the worst opening weekend in the Marvel Cinematic Universe ever, given the current holder, The Incredible Hulk, had an opening weekend of 55.4 million, or 70.2 million in 2021 dollars if you factor in inflation. Those predictions from Box Office Pro did not come true. Instead, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings earned 75.5 million in its opening domestic weekend, becoming the fifth worst grossing MCU film ever. The film only beat The Incredible Hulk, Ant-Man, Captain America the First Avenger, and Thor. But if you adjust for inflation, it's third worst. Beating Captain America, the First Avenger, and Thor would beat it. And that's what he says here. If you factor in inflation, third worst MCU film ever. Both Captain America, the First Avenger, and Thor best Shang-Chi's $75.7 million haul. Captain America First Avenger earned $65 million back in 2011, but in 2021, $78.9 million. Thor earned $65.7 million, which in 2021 dollars is $79.7 million. On top of this, Shang-Chi performed worse than even Black Widow, that was available to view on Disney Plus the same day it released. I got some shit for comparing it to Black Widow, but Black Widow did worse than it should have. It still made $70 million more with Disney Plus numbers. So if you want to half that, because people that saw it on Disney Plus may not have gone to theaters if it wasn't on Disney Plus. So half that, say 35 million more. That's still a big gap. Black Widow's opening weekend was 80.3 million. Disney claimed the film also earned 60 million following Disney Plus Premier Access purchases in its opening weekend. Seemingly believing the media praise around the film's box office, which raved that the film beat Labor Day box office records, Liu took to Instagram, where he posted a collection of thumbnails from YouTubers The Quartering, The Critical Drinker, Geeks and Gamers, Neurotic Heel vs. Babyface, and Ryan Kinnell. He also left out Clownfish TV and World Class Bullshitters. The collection of thumbnails was originally created and posted to Marvel Studios subreddit by user Aaliyah Sun. The user shared a side-by-side of the image next to Variety's headline about the film earning $90 million over the entire Labor Day weekend and breaking the box office record. Here's the Reddit post. Liu added to the thumbnails by including a giant lol over the top of them. He then shared the image on his Instagram story. Yeah, it was Instagram. Wasn't sure if it was that or Snapchat. Unfortunately for Liu, the joke's actually on him. As noted above, the film is actually one of the worst performing films in MCU history. The fact that it broke the Labor Day record is complete another media spin. The box office record for Labor Day weekend was previously held by Sixth Sense, which earned $29.2 million back in 1999. However, The Sixth Sense had already been out in theaters for an entire month. It originally debuted on August 6th. Labor Day 1999 was September 6th. I don't know if that's adjusted for inflation or not, because what I saw was Halloween at 30 point something million. But it doesn't really matter if it broke Labor Day records, like you're saying, because it's a Marvel movie. One, it's damn well better. Two, there's not much competition. You have Halloween from 2007. Other than that, there's nothing else, really. So, that's kind of moot point. Shouldn't really be bragging about that. Shouldn't come as a surprise that Liu would buy into media spin about Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Liu has been actively taking part in media spin by constantly lying about himself and the film. During a recent AMA, Ask Me Anything, on the Marvel Studios subreddit, Liu made the outlandish claim that he believed the people that look like him could only be the actor that gets beaten up by one of the main characters one day. I covered that as well in another video. You can check that out if you want. He specifically stated, let's put it this way. In 2012, when I first started out, I thought that maybe if I worked really hard, I could be the guy who gets beaten up by one of the main characters one day. That was the pinnacle for actors that looked like me. I'm ashamed to say that I've put on the most ridiculous and offensive accents in the past, all because I thought it was more important to give the casting director what they wanted than be true to myself, he added. That's all complete bullshit. First, no way this is true. If it is, you had bad parents, bro. And that's just terrible. As for this, that is better because acting is about not being true to yourself. That goes against everything acting is. But anyway, before we did the AMA, we spoke with Total Film where he claimed Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings means that kids growing up today will have what I didn't, which are characters that are aspirational, that also reflect their lived experiences, and Asian characters. Liu was born in April 1989. Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon arrived in theaters in 1973. Jackie Chan was headlining multiple Rush Hour films in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Jumped. Jet Li played one of the most intimidating villains in Lethal Weapon 4, which was in theaters in 1998. Lee went on to play the lead role in the entertaining science fiction film The One in 2001. Ken Watanabe plays Katsumoto, one of the most inspirational characters in The Last Samurai, a film that came out in 2003. Watanabe also played Saito in Inception and Dr. Ishiro Serizawa in the most recent Godzilla films. The list of Asian characters are so aspirational, it goes on and on. In fact, Ming-Na Wen played Agent Melinda May in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for over 7 years, from 2013 to 2020. Chloe Bennett, whose father is Chinese and was born Chloe Wang, I didn't know that, starred alongside Wen in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Daisy Johnson from 2013 to 2020 as well. It's clear Simu Liu was lying to try and peddle Shang Chi in The Legend of the Ten Rings. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to have done enough, as the film's opening weekend still ranks as one of the worst in MCU history. Lol. That's the rest of and that's the article. This guy's just a bad person, do whatever he's gotta do to get ahead. I mean, the post doesn't offend me. I just think it's funny that we're in his head. He's so soft that he goes to this first thing. I mean, it's just hilarious. He's taking a victory lap when it's just opening weekend. Gotta wait for that second week drop. And then even in that second week drop, they're gonna use Labor Day in it, probably. And then there's some people that are using Labor Day as opening weekend. So it's kind of confusing. You can't have both. So you either have the 90 million opening weekend and then whatever the drop is after that, or you have the 75, I guess it is, officially, million opening weekend, and then tap on Labor Day to that week-long number. And then that isn't completely fair since there's a holiday in there. Then you compare it to other films, there's not. So then, if you want to be completely fair, you shave some of that off, then compare it that way, but, they're not going to do that. So it's kind of an odd situation, but the number you really want to be looking at is the Friday to Friday, Saturday to Saturday, and Sunday to Sunday drop. That's more accurate as to what it actually is, other than going off the whole week. The whole week is still basically the first week, so you really want to look at those. But, I mean, this guy is just such a softie. You have him with this situation. You have Pedro Pascal going after Geeks and Gamers and Ryan. You have James Mangold going on a Twitter tirade the whole day. Like a month or two ago. Matthew Kadish from Salty Nerd Podcast. I feel like there's one more I'm forgetting, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. I mean, we're in their heads. They're listening to us. You just gotta keep doing this. They're listening. You gotta keep pushing until they finally take our advice. But there's also another thing I wanted to show. Those people saying, oh, it's in the middle of a pandemic, what do you expect? Well, I mean, these stadiums seem pretty full and pretty amped.
College football is singing along to Enter Sandman.
Yeah. I don't think they're afraid. Obviously, there's some places that could have drop-offs with restrictions and stuff, but people want to get out and see movies and that they're interested in, go to games. So people say that, I mean, it's not completely accurate. The stands are full there. I mean, so that's kind of a moot point as well, and not completely, but I'm sure affected a little bit, but not a ton like people are saying. So there's that as well. But overall, I just want to thank Simu Liu for letting us know that we're in his head, we're in Hollywood's heads, they're listening to us, and we're getting in there. So thank you, Simu, if you're watching, and I hope I entertained you. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, comment, share. I have another channel called The Thoughtful Outlaw Sports where I talk about basketball, baseball, football, anything else sports related I'm interested in. So check that out if you're interested. I'll see you next time. Bye.